Om Sri Lakshmi Narasimhaya Namaha, Valmiki Ramayana, Kishkinda Kanda, Chapter 42. Sugriva sends Sushena and others to the west. Summary. Sugriva sends troops to west side to search for Sita under the leadership of Sushena, the father of Lady Tara, describing the various and magnificent mountains that are situated at the northwest of India and also the ocean down south to it, namely the present Arabian Sea, and almost up to Persian provinces. He orders monkey troops to return within 1 month's time. Chapter 42 in detail. On sending monkeys to southern direction, Sugriva spoke to a Vanara named Sushena, who looked like a massive cloud. On approaching and venerating that awesomely valorous Sushena, the father of Lady Tara, thereby his own father-in-law, King Sugriva, spoke this sentence while adjoining palms in supplication. Sugriva ordered the supreme monkey, son of great sage Maricha, called Archisman, to western direction, who is surrounded with exemptional and braving monkeys, and a co-equal to Indra in his resplendence, endowed with brilliance and bravery, and whose speed equals that of the son of Vinata, namely Garuda, the eagle vehicle of Vishnu. Along with him, Sugriva also ordered the great mighty brothers of Archisman, that is, the other Vanara sons of sage Maricha, known as Archismalyas, also called Marichas. O outstanding monkeys, you shall search for Vedi proceeding with 200,000 monkeys, say 2 lakhs, and Sushena as your leader. Thus Sugriva started to speak to Vanara troops. O best monkeys, conduct search in that Saurashtra, Bhalika, and Chandrachitra provinces, including their extensive and delightful rural areas and spacious cities, as well as in their woods with Punnaga trees, areas filled with Vakula and Uddhalaka trees, and in their interiors and even in the thickets of Ketaka trees. O Vanaras, search at the blessed rivers in the west, whose cool waters flow westwards, as well as in the forest of sages and on the mountains of those forests, and even in lands that are virtually waterless, and on the highly towering mountains that are chilly. On searching such an impassable western quarter encircled with enmeshed mountains, then it will be apt of you to come and see Western Ocean. Having come to the Western Ocean, you will see sea water ruffled by sharks and crocodiles. Later the monkeys may ramble in the shrubberies of Ketaka plant, in copses of Tamala plant, and in the boskages of coconut trees. Sita shall be searched along with the residency of Ravana on the mountains that are sitting pretty on the seashore, as well as in the forest of these mountains. Further, the delightful cities available along shore like Muraki, Jatapura, Avanti, and Angelapa are to be searched, together with the forest of Alakshita, including the nearby provinces and spacious townships. At the juncture of river Sindhu with the ocean mount of Indus, there is a huge mountain named Himagiri, Golden Mountain, which is with hundreds of summits and gigantic trees. On the beautiful ridges of that mountain, flying lions are inhabiting, and they will be winking sharks, fishes, and elephant seals to their lairs. The elephant inhabiting on the top of the mountain are contented and conceited, and trumpeting like thunderous clouds. They'll be moving everywhere in the vast area of the mountain, abutted by water, and near all the layers of flying lions. The monkeys, who can change their guise by their wish, have to quickly and entirely search the golden peak of that Himagiri, which will be touching the sky and which has amazing trees on it. On your sea going there, O Vanaras, you will see the golden peak of waterlogged mountain called Mount Pariyatra, which peak will be 100 yojanas in height, and which is difficult to see as it will be blindingly glittering. 24 crores of mighty and atrocious Gandharvas, whose glow is similar to the fire and who can change their guise at their wish, are living there on the mountain Pariyatra. If those Gandharvas who resemble the tongues of fires are given offense, they will be thronging together from everywhere. As such, every awfully courageous Vanaras shall not provoke them, and the fly jumpers shall not pluck at least a fruit in that province. because those assiduous, highly mighty, and valiant Gandharvas are impossible for overtures, isn't it? Moreover, those applaudingly audacious Gandharvas will be safeguarding fruits and tubers there. There, you have to put yourself in devoir and search for Janaki in the event of your following just monkeyhood and its antics. Without becoming adventuresome, there will be no scare from those Gandharvas. Then you proceed from that Mount Pariyatra to Mount Vajra. O fly jumpers, there is a great mountain named Mount Vajra in that sea beyond Mount Pariyatra. It will be with a shine similar to the hue of the gemstone lapis, and it will be standing like a diamond in its shape. Hence, it is diamondferous. There, the glorious mountain will be soaring high, squarely for 100 yojanas, and diverse trees and climbers will be spreading over it. There, on that mountain, you have to search pursuantly, including its caverns. In the fourth quarter of that ocean from land, a mountain named Chakravan is there. Vishwakarma, the divine architect, constructed a 1,000-spoked wheel on it. Purana, legend of once upon a time in the crusades of God's demons, Vishnu, assuming the form of Purushottama, supreme person, slew the horse-faced demon named Hayagriva on that mountain and snatched away the wheel weapon from him. Until then, this wheel weapon existed under the custody of the demon Hayagriva. Purushottama also put another demon, Panchajana, to death, and on that very mountain, and took away his backbone, which is a conch shell. Thus, the conch shell handled by Vishnu is known as Panchajanya, Shankha, Panchajanya conch. Thus, this Chakravan named mountain assumes legendary importance to search for Sita. Vaidehi is to be searched on the delightful cliffs of that Mount Chakravan, and also in its spacious caves, together with Ravana, and search for her here, there, and everywhere. After 64 yojanas, another very great mountain with golden peaks is there in the absence of the abode of rain god, namely the ocean, and it is named as Mount Varaha. A city named Prajna Jyotisha is there, which is completely golden, wherein the evil-minded demon named Naraka is living. There, on the delightful cliffs and spacious caves of that Mount Varaha, including that city, Prajna Jyotisha, Ravana shall be searched together with Vaidehi. On ranging from the best Mount Vanara, whose caves are inlaid with golden deposits, apparently to the naked eyes, there is an entirely golden mountain containing waterfall and rapids called Meghavanta. Listening the sonorous sounds of waterfall and rapids of that mountain and construing them to be the roars of their opponent beasts, the elephants, wild boars, lions, and tigers will always be facing that mountain and roaring proud-heartedly all around, by which that Mount Meghavanta itself appears to be roaring proud-heartedly. On which mountain the distinguished Mahendra, whose horses are green and who is the controller of demon Paka, is anointed by gods as their king. Such a mountain is the name Mount Megha or Mount Meghavanta, which you have to score. On going further from that best mountain ruled by Mahendra, namely Mount Meghavanta, you shall go to the range of 60,000 golden mountains. Those mountains are radiant all around with the tinge of young sun and with the resplendence of fully flowered trees, which are wholly golden in hue. There is an unique and kingly mountain in the midst of that range of golden mountains, which is called Mount Meru or Sravadimeru, to which mountain generous sun has once given a boon. The sun said to that unique Mount Meru, Savarni, in this way: by my beneficence, whatever that is sheltered by you, say trees, climbers, rapids, boulders, all of them will transmute into golden hue, either by day or by night. Even those that reside on you, say gods, Gandharvas, or demons, they too shall thrive as my votaries. And as far as the resplendence is concerned, they will be glittering like gold, that is in the ochre golden hue of the eventide. On their coming to that unique mountain, Mount Meru, Savarni, at Vespers, Vishwadevas, Vasavas, Marus, and other celestials will bide their time for the dusking sun, and when they are when they all have worshipped him, the sun goes to the Mount Ashtagiri, the dusking mountain, and vanishes for all beings for the day. The sun courses across those 10,000 yojanas from Mount Merusravani to Mount Ashtadri in 1.5 hours and quickly reaches Mount Ashtadri or Mount Dusk. On the pinnacle of Mount Ashtagiri or the Mount Dusk, there is a supreme and heavenly manor house compacted with multi-story buildings, which in shine will be similar to sun and which is arranged by Vishwakarma, the divine architect. That villa is brightened by amazing trees on which diverse birds will be twittering musically, belonging to the great souled Varuna, the rain god, who wields a teeter. In between Mount Meru and Mount Ashtadri, there is a gigantic 10-leaved date palm tree which is completely golden and shines forth with a marvelous podium. On all those mountains, lakesides, and riversides, Vedi shall be searched together with Ravana far and wide. This is where the virtue knower and the enlightened one, by his own asceticism, a self-same personality to Brahma and one renowned as sage Marushravani, indeed resides. And the sage Merushravani, who is sun similar in his shine, can be asked only on your prostration before him in veneration about the tidings of Maithili and her whereabouts. On effacing the utter darkness of all the mortal world, up to here, the illuminator of mortal world and the decliner of night, namely the sun, will go to Mount Ashtagiri, say Mount Dusk. It is possible for the Vanaras to go only up to there, O best Vanaras, and we have no knowledge of those sunless and boundless realms available far beyond. You shall return within a month on knowing about Vedi and also about the residency of Ravana, and on you reaching Mount Ashtagiri, say Mount Dusk, and none shall stay behind for more than a month, and if anyone stays, I have to exercise coup de grace in his respect. By the way, my valorous father-in-law, namely Sushena, is proceeding along with you. As achievers of ordered tasks, you shall give heed to all of the orders given by him. He who is highly dexterous and great mighty, such as Sushena, is my father-in-law. Thus, he is venerable to me as well as to you. Even all of you are triumphant ones, and indeed archetypes by yourself. By instituting him as your archetype, you shall search the western directions. We all fulfill ourselves in reciprocating him who has done good to us only if we can locate Sita, the wife of the king of humans, whose vitality is unlimited, namely Rama. Even if any other task than this is there, that which shall be conducive to this task and which shall also be conducive to mine, place and purpose, you shall undertake the task also on deciding about it among yourselves. Sugriva spoke thus to the monkeys going to the western direction. On hearing the sentence of Sugriva sedulously, then Sushena and other important fly jumpers took leave of the king of fly jumpers, namely Sugriva, and proceeded along with their individual troops to the western direction, which is well coistered by Varuna, the rain god. Thus, this is the 42nd chapter in Kishkinda Kanda of Valmiki Ramayana, the first epic poem of India. Sri Moola Rama Vijayate. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.